Assalamu alaikum, my beloved students. This is your history class for class 7, week 7th, 18th May to 22nd May 2020. As we have started our chapter number 5 from the last and the previous week, and we studied about Babur and his legacy. And this particular week we're going to study and continue the next topic from our textbook. Let me give you a little details of your textbook, which I'll be referring myself to. It is Understanding History for Class 7 by Oxford, written by Ismat Riaz. So the textbook, page number 33 and 34 of your textbook, chapter number 5, the coming of the Mughals, in particularly in the subcontinent area. So the topics to be covered in this session: Humayun 1530 to 1556. In this we're going to study about the life of Humayun, the struggles that he had with regards to his rulership and his kingdomship and his kingship, and Humayun in exile. And another topic that we're going to discuss in this particular session is Humayun as a ruler. So without any further delay, let's get into the lecture. So the objectives that what I really think that this particular lesson would be able to give you guys. So students will be able to know about the famous Muslim Mughal personality Humayun, and they'll be able to comprehend the famous historical events and the developments and etc. And they'll be able to know the legacy of Mughal ruler Humayun, what kind of a person basically he was as an individual and as as a person. And the students will be able to comprehend or know the details of what kind of a ruler Humayun was, his personality as a ruler, as a governor. So it's going to be a very interesting lecture for all of my students, and I believe that and I'll really advise you to open your textbook as well, page number 33, so that you can have a good attention and coming from your book as well and coming from these slides as well. So let's get into the lecture now. The methodology for this particular lesson: presentation slides in line with textbook content, so that you have all the relevant stuff coming from your textbook into the slides in front of your screens. Audio visual aid, relevant pictures have also been added as well in order to make more of understanding for you guys. Resources have been provided, including YouTube links to documentaries and the relevant stuff, so that you can add up more and compile up more into your mind about the topics. Home assignment and exercise questions related to the topics that we're going to discuss. For example, in this particular week we're going to discuss Humayun, so you'll be doing your exercise questions related to the topic. Solved assignment keys are also provided, so you don't really need to worry about that. We are here to take care of you with regards to your keys and your solved assignment side. So material is totally in line with textbook content, along with images to avoid any kind of confusion for you guys. So I hope that the methodology has been explained well in front of you, so that you may know what kind of methods that we're going to have and we're going to adopt with this particular lesson. So let's get into the lesson now. So Humayun 1530 to 1556, textbook page number 33. First you need to understand that Humayun was the son of Babur, and he was the eldest one, and that's why I've made slide and I've made some points for you in order to really comprehend the whole idea, and I've extracted that and I'm going to explain for you guys in the easy words, so that you may and I'm sure that you'll understand it in the best way possible. So Humayun was expected to carry the legacy of his father, as we know that his father died. He was 48 years of age and he was quite young at that time, and he just captured Punjab as well. So he was the one who had to carry the legacy of his father, as he was the eldest of Babur's son, and at that time he was only 23 years of age when he succeeded to the throne. So just imagine, he was just a young boy who actually had to come up and to show his kingship and his traits to really rule the land. He did not have his father's energy and personality. If we compared the both father and the son, he was not of that caliber. He did not have his father's energy and personality. Fate also had a little different role for him. Humayun inherited the kingdom which was not fully in control of him because he had enemies coming from his father's time. So he faced resistance from the Afghans from his own people, from his own nobles and Rajputs. As we know that his father defeated Rana Sanga. He was of Mewar, who he was a Rajput himself. So they kind of have had a rivalry in between and had to try and subdue both to ensure and secure his throne. He also had been asked by Babur to be kind to his brothers as an advice by the father. So he divided the empire amongst his three brothers, Kamran, Askari, Mirza and Hindal. So these are the names of his three brothers. So these were like four brothers, and then he divided the land between the three of them furtherly. However, when Humayun needed when he needed the help of his brothers to fight Afghan nobles, his brothers were not fully inclined to help him. Rather, they sided with some of Humayun's enemy. Rather than helping him out, they became allies of his own brothers' enemies. And Humayun was actually a forgiving kind of a personality when he should have punished them. So he actually, despite of punishing them, he actually forgave them. Humayun was kind even to his enemies, such as Bahadur Shah of Gujarat. He wasn't that cruel to them, and underestimating the clever and ambitious Afghan noble Sher Khan, as we commonly know him as Sher Shah Suri. And he's one of the famous personalities, if we know, and like he has a lot of negativity attached to him, so he's not of that much of good caliber as we find out in the history. So Sher Khan, Sher Shah Suri, lost his empire within 10 years of being crowned emperor. So it only took 10 years for him to lose the land. Sher Shah had meanwhile taken control of Bihar and rich province of Bengal. The Battle of Kannauj in 1540 decided the fate of Mughal Empire. Humayun was defeated and fled to Persia and took refuge with Shah Tahmasp. So now Sher Shah Suri declared himself as a ruler of Hindustan, the sole ruler of Hindustan, and successfully put down all opposition to his rule. So this is how the things happened. This is how he was kicked out of this land, his own father's land, his father occupied. So let's get to the other topic that we have, Humayun in exile. Now we have the topic Humayun in exile, textbook page number 33 to 34, and at this slide you can see I've put the picture, and that's coming from a textbook, so that becomes more relatable for you. The picture is at the right side of the slide, and I'm going to read and make it more easier for you. I'm going to read from the points that I've made, and I've made all of these points from the textbook. For next 15 years, Humayun remained a fugitive, like he was escaped after a great defeat. He actually escaped from the land. Leaving Agra, he decided to go to Kashmir, but his brother Kamran blocked his way. So it's kind of his own brothers started to ridicule him and making more storms into his path. So Humayun fled to Sindh and took shelter with Raja of Umarkot, and his son Akbar was born there in 1542. So this is very important for you to understand and to memorize that his son Akbar was born in Sindh when Humayun fled to Sindh and took shelter from, or shelter with, or refuge with Raja of Umarkot in 1542. In 1544, Humayun took refuge with Shah Tahmasp of Persia and spent then 10 years there. To return Kandahar to Persians and please the Shah, Humayun fought and defeated his brother Askari, and he had a fight with his own brother, and by 1550 he also captured Kabul from his brother Kamran and set up a court there. So he actually regained the control of the land which he himself gave to his brother Askari, and then after defeating him he gained the control in 1550 of the Kabul. So finally the Shah Tahmasp help in 1555 Humayun recaptured the Punjab, Delhi and Agra by defeating Sikandar Suri, coming from the same family of he was the successor of Sher Shah Suri and ascending the throne of Hindustan after 15 years. So he regained it after 15 years. But sadly, like his father, just 6 months later Humayun had a fatal fall from the stairs of his private observatory. It was more like a library. He used to go and upstairs and study. He was carrying books, as I already told you, and he tripped as his feet were caught in his robe. Like he had a big robe and his feet got stuck into the robe when he bent down on hearing the adhan. So all medical aid proved useless, and 17 days after a battle of 17 days, finally later the khutbah was read in the name of Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, Humayun's 13-year-old son, who was given title Akbar later, and then in the later history we'll be able to know more about Akbar as well. So moving to the next slide. Humayun as a ruler, textbook page number 34. Here are some memories of what kind of a person Humayun he was, in particularly as a ruler. So the long stay in Persia had greatly influenced Humayun, who adopted Persian culture. Obviously he was there and he adopted a great deal out of their culture. At Tabriz in Persia, he met two artists, Mir Sayyid Ali and Khwaja Abdus Samad of Safavid school of painting, and brought them to Agra because he was so influenced and he was so impressed by their work, where they were asked to illustrate the famous Persian classic Dastan-e-Amir Hamza. The Nastaliq script, it's a font basically, Arabic into Urdu into Arabic font, and I've posted a picture at the left bottom of your slide as well. There are two kind of writing forms. So one is Naskh and there is Nastaliq. So the Nastaliq script was also developed about this time, replacing the Naskh script. Urdu and Persian are still written in Nastaliq script in the subcontinent era, but when we go into Arabic side, we have the other Naskh kind of font they're used. Even the Quran are also Quran have different fonts in subcontinent side and in Arabia. So there are pretty big kind of difference between the both. So Humayun was not a military genius like his father, but he was deeply interested in astronomy, astrology, painting, and poetry. That shows his soft side and kind of a decent caliber. He was a kind and generous ruler whose kindness was exploited, like they used him, by his opponents. Despite that, Humayun proved to be optimistic. He was quite positive, and he forgave his own brothers afterwards. And then afterwards, he had to fight them to gain the land again, and to regain the control and to claim his land. And he proved to be optimistic and preserving, and as he fought back to regain his empire. So at this slide, at the bottom of your right side, I've posted a picture from the book Humayun's Mausoleum built by Akbar. So this is what you have to study in this particular week with regards to history lesson. So let's do a little summary, a little recap of what we studied in this particular. The summary of lesson. In this particular session of lesson, we have studied the legacy of Humayun, his struggles, a rivalry from Afghan and Rajputs of Hindustan, whom his father also dealt, betrayal of his brothers and fall of empire within 10 years, fight with Sher Shah Suri and defeat of Humayun, and then his exile. So in exile, he gave birth, his son Akbar, he was born when he was in exile. So with the Raja of Umarkot. So regaining of Kabul after fighting his own brother Askari, Delhi and Agra, and after that, after just 6 months of this whole scenario of this whole development, Humayun actually eventually fell ill after falling from the stairs. He was carrying his books. So this was actually fatal for him, and actually took his life. And then his 13 years old son Akbar, he took over, and this is how it happened. So assignment, I've put it a heading here as well. Assignment at the bottom, you can see assignment exercise question number 3, 4 and 5, and answers will be provided in the assignment key file. I wish you best of luck. Stay safe. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all safe. Assalamu alaikum.